Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Project Podcast. My name is Ira Bowman. I am your host. I'm excited today. I have Courtney Kirschbaum from Job Hunt School with me today, and we're going to talk about her school and she's going to give some advice and some tips on ways that we can help improve the job search for you. The goal, of course, is to introduce you as best we can to the employers, to the people who have the jobs, for those who are underemployed or unemployed. So, Courtney, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and welcome.
I am honored to be here. Thank you, Ira.
It's going to be fun. I have 3 questions for you today. I want to ask you first, the very first question is about an interview. You talk about in your profile that in your very first interview with a blue chip company, you kind of got in the weeds a little bit. You were taking on water and somehow you were able to recover. And I think that's a situation or a scenario that a lot of people can relate to. And I was hoping that you could talk about that experience a little bit and maybe give us some advice if we find ourselves in a similar situation, how we can recover.
Okay. So this is a story. I had kind of found my dream job, and my goal at the time was to get overseas. So I'd gotten this amazing interview with the dream company that was going to ultimately send me overseas. So I'm there at the interview, and it's going beautifully. It was a group interview. So I interviewed with a couple of people individually, and then I met with the team. And I could just tell from the energy that it was going really well. And then they asked me a technical question. And I'll never forget it. It was about SQL. And because the work they were doing had to do with databases, and I started stumbling and mumbling, and I lost momentum, and I could see their faces fall. And I'm like, oh God, there goes my job.
Yeah.
And I recovered a little, but I could just feel I never quite got the energy back that I'd had before. And it was so clear. It was like a graph. You're doing great. You're doing great. No. So I had a 90-minute drive home, and I thought about it, and I just was, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So as soon as I got home, I rushed into my office. I blew the dust off my old college textbook, SQL, and I flipped through it and I refreshed. Now, I had known those things. I had taken a class in SQL, but in the moment, I just bombed it. So I went right to my desk, email, and I said, great interview. Thank you so much for your time. I feel like it didn't quite give you what you wanted when you asked about SQL. Here's a quick summary of my experience. And I sent it to the head interviewer, and who I am still friends with to this day.
Awesome.
I got the job, and when I came in for my first day, she goes, it was that email. She said, we weren't going to hire you, but you showed us that you knew that you'd bombed it, that you were able to fix things, and that's who we want in our team. Somebody who, because we all bomb it, we all don't say the right thing at the right time. What do you do next? That's your big opportunity to fix it, and that's what happened. And that was a big moment, because it saved, that job ended up being my dream job, and I did end up going overseas and having just an amazing ride with that company.
That's great. I think you do more than just show somebody your technical prowess when you recover in that way. You also, probably even more importantly than the technical component, you show them your heart that you actually care. Like, if nothing else, you wanted to make sure that they understood that this was something that was important to you, and you obviously did that in spades. I think as a previous hiring manager, if somebody had done that, it would have made a world of difference for me. So I think it's great advice. So the idea there is then the interview isn't necessarily over when it's over. If there's something that you want to retouch on, you can reach out. That's great. I love it. Okay.
I think, the takeaway there, I'll just say this. It's like, if you mess something up, or you feel like you messed something up, that's actually an opportunity for you to show your character and who you are.
Your humanity, right?
Exactly.
It's a rapport. It's rapport building, and that's part of what the interview process is. A lot of people don't understand that. It's like if you don't connect, if you and I are in a job interview, and I don't connect with you on a personal level, I'm most likely not going to get hired, because the odds are one of the 10 or 15 people that they interview is going to make that connection. That relatability is so important. So, and if you relate to somebody on a human level, then they're going to forgive you, because that's I think most human beings want to extend some mercy. Right?
I think you're right. They don't expect you to be perfect. They just want you to be real.
Yeah, and they want to see that you add value, and you showed that you would, because when you make a mistake, you're willing to go the extra mile and you care. So I think it's great. All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Question number 2 might be a shorter question. We'll see how it goes. But I noticed on your website that you travel extensively between the United States and Canada. You go to companies and you go to schools and you do presentations and you do, I'm assuming, speeches of some kind, and you do, and you're doing your workshops. The question isn't so much what you talk about at these workshops or in these speeches, but being that I'm speaking to job seekers in today's market, I'm wanting to know if you're noticing any trends that kind of transcend location for job seekers. So is there some trend or theme, if you will, that you've noticed that might help a job seeker in today's market get an advantage or gain an advantage, some type of leverage that they can utilize in their quest to land a job today? So something that might help them become more successful in today's climate.
Sure. Ira, you and I live in this world. Like, this is the sea we swim in. So if there's a new trend or there's a new app, we're on it. Like, oh, have you seen this? And we're talking to other people who live in this world and swim in this sea. But if you're a job seeker, and you and I have both been there, because we both you have a full-time job in a separate world, and for years I did too. Job seeking was just something I did in between. That was the mortar between the bricks.
Right.
And so when you get into job seeking, you're in that whole new world. You're in between jobs. It's some sort of strange, horrible purgatory where you just want it to be over with so fast.
Absolutely.
But I mean, and everybody feels that way. It is such a weird twilight zone. But the key thing that I see is a job seeker who is changing jobs, has missed, like, they've been in a time warp. So things are changing so fast now that if you're job seeking, you may not be aware of what's what. You may think, like, oh, you may be back in the 1950s, resume, cover letter, and not realize how important your LinkedIn profile has become.
Right.
So my advice, the first thing I tell everyone to do is, if you're just starting job seeking, even if you're in the biggest rush in the world, no matter how much pressure you're under, get on LinkedIn and observe. Just see what people are doing. Don't assume that you're up to speed, because if it's been only 6 months, you're not. Things have changed.
Yeah.
And also understand that you may be the best person in the world at your job. I talk to so many people who are incredibly skilled. I get resumes and I'm like, how can you not have a job yet? You are amazing. But people often don't talk about themselves and promote themselves well, and it's like they're speaking one language as the person who does a job, and the recruiters and hiring managers are speaking another language, and it's kind of bringing them together. And that's really why I started doing what I do, because I thought, oh, there's a huge disconnect. And I know it's why you started too. You want to help people and you see a disconnect.
Yeah.
I guess to sum it up, my advice is understand that nobody expects you to be a job hunt pro. You're good at what you do. And if that's not marketing or sales, you're probably going to find job hunting challenging. So brush up your skills.
Yeah.
Realize you got a little bit to learn. Understand what you need to do on LinkedIn. Get feedback on your resume and your cover letter before you send it out. And don't get to that 6-month point and be thinking, God, why don't I have a job yet? I'm so good at what I do. You have to be good at talking about and presenting what you do to get that job. So get that help and get that knowledge so you get the full weight of your hard work, your experience, your education, and you don't get left behind because you didn't close that gap. And I see that everywhere. Every country, every person has that kind of same needing to close that.
That gap is exactly what Project Help You Grow does. I don't help people be better at what they do. I help them figure out how to connect. I mean, I am like a bridge. So I completely agree.
That's it. It's just getting them across the bridge.
So, okay. There's a great divide between the job seeker and the employer, and how do you do? Well, one of the ways you use a recruiter, right? People say, well, what is a recruiter good for? That's one of the things that they're helpful with.
Absolutely.
Okay. So obviously you're the CEO and founder of Job Hunt School. That is why you are here, because I am fascinated by anybody who's helping job seekers, and you are doing an amazing job from all accounts.
Thank you.
I was reviewing your website in prep for this interview, I noticed that the school, it seems like it has a pillar for 5 different things: the know, contact, compose, connect, and close phases of the job hunt.
Yep.
You have 3 different packages that you're offering your students: basic, career, and premium. I was hoping that you might explain a bit about the school, how it works, and who maybe your ideal students might be.
Sure. So the reason I've founded a school, and it's an online program, it's video based. I do live coaching, and we have an online community. So that's essentially, when you say the school, that's what Job Hunt School is.
Right.
I kept getting the same questions from, I mean, literally hundreds of people online, at events, when I was speaking or giving a workshop. And I thought, I need to consolidate this in one place, or I'm going to lose my voice repeating the same little speech. So that's what I did. It's, as you mentioned, it's 5 pillars, and it takes you from soup to nuts in your job hunt. And here's, I think, the main reason I wanted to do it. I want people to be in the know. I want them to understand, this is what you should do. This is what modern job hunting is about this month and this year, because it's always changing. And this is how you protect yourself. Because I saw so many people signing off on employment contracts that restricted them from getting another job in a 50-mile radius for 2 years. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And a lot of job seekers thought, oh, I just have to sign this. No, you don't. I saw people who really wanted to negotiate but didn't know how. And I just wanted to kind of put it all in one place where it's consolidated. And that's kind of the basis of the school. Know, contact, compose, connect, and close, get you through all of those. And then you can do it kind of on your own, at your own speed. It's video-based, self-paced, but there's also a Facebook group where you can pop in and I answer questions. People drop in all the time. This happened today, help me. And we have live calls. So the packages that you mentioned are really kind of depending on what you want. If you just want the video training, you want to get up to speed, you want to know the traps to look out for, you can get the basic package. If you want to get every single update, and we have a LinkedIn Boost update that's coming out November 15th. If you want to get everything and it's a lifetime membership forever, you can get kind of that career package. And the premium package is where I work with you one-on-one. I look at your resume, I look at your cover letter. I'm your advocate, cheerleader, champion, and new best friend. Because, I mean, that's my favorite part. I love talking to somebody and saying, okay, shoot me your resume. Let me just have a quick look. People will message me on LinkedIn, and I'm like, you don't have time to do this, Courtney. You can't respond to this. And I will. I'm like, all right, don't tell anybody, but send me your resume. And I know I'll probably get 100 today for saying that. But I'm so passionate about informing job seekers so they don't feel bad about themselves and they don't think, I'm not getting a job because I don't know what I'm not good at this. I'm not a good enough person. Yes, you are. You are good at what you do, and you're a good enough person. Just let's polish up those job seeking skills and get you in the door.
Awesome.
And that's what it's about.
There's no doubt. You and I are fast friends, obviously, because we have the same heart. I love the fact that your school is set up in those 5 pillars. And I don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to go ahead and get that premium package. They even get 2 personal coaching in sessions with you. So
yep.
That would be worth the price of admission all by itself. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on, Courtney. Again,
Thanks,
I'm going to reference a link to your Job Hunt School so that the viewers can find you easily. I'm going to create a link to your LinkedIn profile as well.
Great.
And I wish you nothing but success, and I thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Ira. It's been an honor to be here.
All right. You have a great day, and I'll see you again real soon.
Okay. You too.